All right, here we go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Bowls Victoria's BVTV Game Day for the match between Bundoora RSL and the MCC. My name's Tony Sherwill. I'll be joined by Johnny Roberts a little bit later on in co-commentary for the BCIB Premier League Melbourne's Premier Division Round 13 match of this 2021-22 season. Jack's just been rolled. In this first end, we're covering the match between Bundoora RSL and MCC, and in particular our streamed rink. We will of course bring you progress scores from all of the other rinks, but on this particular rink for Bundoora we've got 𝗣𝗿𝗁, who's just led out with his first bowl now. Just a few foot in behind, needs to hold and will. Liam Turner will be second in that rink. 𝗣𝗿𝗁 will play 3 to 𝗣𝗿𝗁 skipping for Bundoora. And their opponents, of course, from MCC, Simon Norton, as we see him just put down his first bowl now, with Scott Majon, Mike Haig and Brendan Gallagher. So it's going to be an absolute cracking affair. As we move through the rinks, we've got Corey Wedlock skipping a Bundoora rink against Brad Marin for MCC. I will give you full details as we go. Dean O'Neill skipping a rink against Scotty Mortimer from MCC. That'll be a great matchup. And on the far rink away from the commentary, we've got Bundoora's 𝗍𝗿𝗁 against the one and only 𝗣𝗿𝗁, who's in fine touch. So we see some fine touch there from 𝗍𝗿𝗁 with a lovely little opener from him. So it promises to be a very good match. These two teams sitting pretty high on the respective ladder. Bundoora sitting second on the ladder before any of today's games have finished. We, of course, did have one match last night, which I'll get to in a second. And MCC sitting third on the table so far. So this is going to be quality bowls against two quality teams. You see Liam Turner on the mat now with the blue and white bowl. Green looking an absolute picture here, I might add. Slight wind, nothing too bad, but an absolutely beautiful day. There's Liam, puts that one in a little short, give him an opportunity to correct with his second. See what Scotty Majon can do. If you've just finished your matches, feel free to let us know in the comments your scores from today. So I say an absolutely picture-perfect day for bowls. Scotty Majon will be relatively happy with that one. Sits in a nice little home. Expect a nice vocal game from these players. Shouts of encouragement from both teams, which is what we want to see. Well, it's a very good effort, just nestles in. Liam Turner will be happy with that. As we see Scotty Majon on a great track. Just got the wrong edge of the bowl, but improves it. So 𝗣𝗿𝗁 on his way back to the mat. A very popular 𝗣𝗿𝗁. It's a very good finish. Just skips through a touch, but that'll be good enough for 2. So as Mike Haig makes his way back to the mat. An individual Mike Haig using black bowls, obviously a bit of a lair. Don't see too many black bowls these days. Of course, I'm kidding. Just a touch narrow, but a good effort nonetheless. Importantly, stays on. Absolutely picture perfect surface out here. Dyson Appleyard, the greenkeeper, should be commended for what he's able to do here. Talking to the players as they had a bit of a practice earlier, they were all very, very happy with the finish on the green. It looks $1 million. So Benny might have hung this out a little wide for what he was hoping for. And no real change there. Still Bundoora holding 2 from this position. It's early days, Richard, but just watching a few bowls come down, I'd say it's nudging 15, but 14.5, 15, but a good amount of turn on both hands. And the wind's behaving itself relatively well, so conducive to good bowls. So we see Gary Kelly on the mat. He's got a busy week ahead of him with BPL commitments, as do a number of players. Stamping his feet as if to say hurry, and it ain't gonna. Line's okay, but probably needs another 4 or 5 foot away. A little bit of trouble going on behind us. All is well. So we see Brendan Gallagher step onto the mat. Now Brendan is no stranger to this green, having won the region singles here week before last on a Wednesday night, where he defeated Dean O'Neill, who we can see skipping a couple of rinks over as well. High quality affair. Just kept pushing and pushing that one. That's good enough to cut one out. Just turning in nicely. I reckon it's very close to 2 if it's not. So joining me in commentary, as I mentioned earlier, is the one and only Johnny Roberts. For those that aren't aware, Johnny Roberts, well, not only president of Bundoora RSL Bowling Club, but also numerous roles in the officiating space, as he officiated the highest level, including Commonwealth Games, World Championships and everything else. Welcome, Johnny Roberts.
Thank you very much, Tony. Great to be here.
So we watch this Gallagher bowl just keep finishing, short, but not enough. So I suggest that'll be 2 to Bundoora. They are just having a quick look. Yep, it is 2 to Bundoora. So we're underway here. Early blood to the boys from Bundoora, 2-zip. We'll of course keep you updated with the scores from each of the other rinks as we go along. Now, Johnny Roberts, I'd ask you who your pick is, but I'm pretty sure as president of Bundoora, there's really no...
It'll be a close game.
Yep.
So, hopefully our boys will get up. They were very keen to play today. They practiced well during the week.
Just looking across the green, there is talent galore.
Yep.
Got Brendan Gallagher obviously on the rink we're streaming. He's a pathway jackaroo, so he's in the national program, as is Dean O'Neill, who I mentioned is skipping a couple of rinks over.
Yep.
𝗣𝗿𝘁 is an emerging jackaroo, which is a next step in the pathway, and he's skipping the far rink. Corey Whitlock, of course, is here. Now, he is arguably the best player in the country at the moment, and of course a jackaroo. And to go with all that, we've got Tommy Ristic, who the most freshly minted over 60s singles champion, having won the title in Bendigo this week. So
I was fortunate enough to mark that game.
Yep.
So Tommy went out early, but 𝗣𝗿𝘁 played well to catch up, and then Tommy drew one to finish off the game.
It's 2 years in a row for Tommy Ristic, so obviously stamping his authority on the over 60 singles. And speaking of which, 𝗍𝗿𝘁,
the machine,
the absolute machine. Well, Simon Norton saying whatever you can do, I can have a decent crack at too. So just finishing through, but obviously anything behind that jack they'll be relatively pleased with. Liam Turner on the mat now. Only a young fella. Johnny Roberts, how old would Liam Turner be?
He's just turned 18.
Well, there you go. Younger than I thought.
Affectionately known as Posty, as he always delivers.
No shortage of nicknames in bowls.
No.
And there you hear the shouts of Posty as he just edges in his Leeds bowl. Sits in a pretty good home himself. Scotty Mortimer's picked up 2 on the first end against Dean O'Neill.
And 3 on the other rink, the far rink.
3 for
MCC.
𝗍𝗿𝘁. We saw Clayton get the jump on Lilydale last night.
Yeah.
In what actually was quite an entertaining match. Lilydale managed to bring it back and got their noses in front, and then Clayton sort of sped away at the end.
Yeah. As Ali had a great win on his rink.
He did, as he tends to do. I think I recall the boys saying he's only missed 1 this season, so playing very well is 𝗍𝗿𝘁, and you would expect so, given his resume. So Scotty Majon. It's almost a white bowl. It's got a little blue speckle in it, so I'll run through all the bowls soon, but they haven't made it easy for us. There's a lot of light blue and white, and then we get to the skippers. One's full orange and one's half orange, half navy. So depending on which way Gary Kelly's bowl lies, it can look orange. So this will be an interesting match. Apologise in advance when I get it wrong, because I'm probably sure I will. Johnny Roberts, you've come from Fitzroy, I think, today. You had a game today. How did you go?
We lost.
I shouldn't have asked, should I?
Our rink lost by 1, and one rink lost 1. And so we lost 16 to 2 overall.
Well, it's nice to see you giving somebody else the spoils for a change.
Very interesting synthetic at Fitzroy, Victoria. It's probably the slowest synthetic I've ever played on, but it's true enough.
I presume you're on the back green, away from the clubhouse. Yep. So it's still relatively new, is it?
It's fairly new.
Couple of years old.
Couple of years old.
Yeah.
There must have been at least 20,000 other people there celebrating Bucks turns.
Yeah, on a day like today, why not? Speaking of celebrating,
Ooh.
Mike Haig is able to peel one out. I favour he's probably close for second shot. I'm not sure whether it's actually going to be there, but yeah, we're relatively happy with that.
Yeah.
We've seen Brad Marin go for a couple of drives. Liam Turner well and truly onto it and looking to protect the head, which he does. Of course, Brad Marin only just back into the team after missing the doubleheader last weekend with some isolation-related COVID issues.
Great ball by Benny Hubber.
Yep, absolute belter. 2 on a measure.
Yep.
Couple of missed high fives, but no one's judging. Mike Haig, as I said, must be a bit of a lair using black bowls. The only one on the green to use black bowls. It's become like the black boots in football.
Yep.
Not a bad miss. You'd have to think Brendan's going to play pretty positive when he gets on the mat.
Yes, got the backest ball.
Had some debate, JR, over whether or not we're allowed to use backest, whether or not it's a word, and we arrived on best back.
Best back.
As not a bad substitute. One of our
it's definitely not a word.
True. One of our international friends said we say best back
Best
over
back
here.
Bowl.
I thought that's not a bad way to do
Yep.
it. So Gary Kelly on the mat. I mentioned there's not much wind, but it's probably just kicked up a little. And that would have been about perfect speed had it not crashed into 𝗍𝗿𝗁's bowl. So see Corey Wedlock pick up a 3. He's now leading 3 shots to 2. Not a bad
What's this
track
ball
for
gonna
the
do?
Gallagher bowl.
Just going to miss the edge.
Well, it's still going to be 2. I favour it's only 2.
Yep.
Johnny Roberts with some of the best eyes in the business. We'll get that right far more often than not.
Bit of pace on this.
Asking it to hold.
Let's go down the back. To be the best back bowl.
Correct. Well done. Picked it up well. Yep. No argument from that. Probably nesting half a yard off the ditch.
Just in case Brendan comes through with a bit of weight.
Well, I think we could see what Brendan's shot was, but unfortunately, giving that 𝗍𝗁 a little nudge, probably takes away that shot now. We see Brendan and Mike over the head trying to work out the best plan of attack.
What's Brendan going to do? A little bit of weight, I think.
Left-handed forehand. Dean O'Neill plays a good bowl to the applause of his teammates. I favour Brendo's just a touch wide. He'll sail through the gap, so I'd say that's a safe 2 to Bundoora, but we will just
Take 2 out and have a look for the
it's not
third.
3.
Could be 3.
Not sure 𝗣𝗿𝗁 looks overly interested, but
2.
as Mike signals for us, we appreciate that. Successive 2s for Bundoora. Be happy with that start.
𝗣𝗿𝗁's now 4.
Speaking of successive 2s,
2 2s.
3 and a 1, same as 2 2s, isn't it?
Yeah.
She hasn't been 100% 𝗣𝗿𝗁 in recent weeks. He's got a slight medical issue that he's trying to get through, which saw him have to pull out of the region singles, but saw him before the game today and he looked in pretty good nick. So 𝗍𝗍 𝗍 or Adrian 𝗍𝗍, but often referred to as 80. He is using Aero Optimas, the white with the dark blue stripe. As I'm just getting a text from the team manager of Croydon saying they got up, so that's an interesting one. Croydon were against the Oval Footscray. So
wow, that's
they have
a good result.
A very good result for them. They've been going very well. In fact, last week they were out here at Bundoora. I managed to catch a bit of that match and they were going okay. They snuck a couple of rinks. Bundoora got over the line in the end, but so 𝗍𝗍 𝗍𝗍 is using the Aero Optima size 3. Going through the Bundoora rink. Liam Turner also using an Optima size 3.
Yep.
Benny Hubba uses a Henselite Dreamline XG, also size 3. That's the blue and yellow bowls, and Gary Kelly's using an Optima size 4. We mentioned Gary Kelly's have the navy and orange, which he's obviously getting a good feel for them, ready for his role in BPL. For the MCC rink, Simon Norton leading them out is using a Henselite XG in the light blue. So we see that pepper the jack right now, almost a little touch, but sits in a 1.5 feet behind. Scotty Majon is using a Henselite XG3, the white and light blue, almost white looking bowls. Mike Haig is the odd one out in the MCC team. He's using a Taylor SR size 4, the black bowl. And Brendan Gellinger is using a Henselite XG size 3, orange in colour. So a bit of a mixture there, JR. We've got majority Henselite, a couple of Aeros and a Taylor. So we see Liam Turner. Not the postman, postage, is it?
Postie.
Postie.
The postie.
The
person
postie.
who delivers.
Yep. Well, he's done that with that bowl. Dean O'Neill picks up a 1 on his rink. Postie gets back on the mat.
So looking pretty happy.
Yep, not a bad home.
What's Scotty done? Bit wide.
Yep. That is a lot of white and light blue bowls. You can certainly see why organisations like Potters or the World Indoors just use consistent colours. Certainly makes it much easier for the crowd and commentators, but
and that's what they're doing.
We will do our darndest.
Commonwealth Games this year at Birmingham, they're all, each player has to have a red set and a blue set.
Yeah, I like that idea, Johnny Roberts. I know Australia had taken the lead in recent years by always using a yellowish gold colour bowl.
Yep.
New Zealand, I think, joined in, and a couple of other nations. Couldn't quite get everyone on board, so this will force the issue, which I think is a good thing.
Well, my only concern with that, Tony, is how do the poorer nations afford it?
Yeah, this is true. It will take a little bit of assistance from our manufacturers, and you would hope that they'll find a way to supply some bowls and then sell them as being used in the Commonwealth Games. Mike Haig just finding a little gap to spit out the back.
Yep.
Benny Hubbard looking on not a bad track here.
Yeah, good
all
ball.
On speed.
Behind, good ball.
Yep. So no scores in yet from Lilydale v Mentone.
Okay.
As we said earlier, Croydon v Yarraville-Footscray, we don't have scores, but we understand Croydon have beaten Yarraville-Footscray. And Deer Park had a later start to their match. They were a 3:30 kickoff, so we won't see any scores from them for a little while. But we did have Mentone get over the top of Altona last night. An away team win.
Amazing effort.
Yep, 14-4, so only 4 shots in it.
Altona would have had all their marquee players present because they're down in Melbourne ready to head up to Moama.
Yep, spot on. So Dave Ferguson
Twisty
ran into a very hot Brad Foote, who's been very good this season. In fact, Dave Ferguson's been very good, but lost 15-25. Ben Twist got over the top of Dean Arthur 20-18, a close one. Dane McKinnon continued his rich vein of form, 23-12 over Tony Wood, who has been very good. Yep. And Nathan Wilson unfortunately ran into a red hot Ash Rowan, 16-23. So Gary Kelly asking it to hold.
His bowls.
Yep, bowls do not have ears. Doesn't stop us trying though.
I think if they get through to the finals, these players at Moama will play something like 20 games over 4 days. So it's a huge effort.
I was chatted to Corey Wedlock before, and I said, how's your bowls going? He goes, yep, going well. I said, you're playing pretty much every day? He said, yes, I actually got half a day off the other day. So the only time I'm not playing, I'm in a plane. So as he battles the Queensland Premier League season, obviously his commitments here, BPL and the tournament schedule, plus stuff for his home club.
And also getting ready for trials for Com Games.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of bowls on. They haven't picked a side yet for Australia to represent Australia in long bowls.
No, you'd have to think Corey Wedlock will be in the team.
Yeah, I would think so.
As I mentioned earlier, arguably the best in the country at the moment.
Yep.
It's a very good effort from Gary Kelly, just nestling in behind. We've got a shadow over, but I believe
it's close. It's in the count at the moment, I think.
That might actually be Simon Norton's bowl there. So
okay.
Could be 2, but Brendan Gallagher is having none of it, whatever it was.
Oh.
It's only 1 now.
Only 1 now.
As Mike Haig obliges and gives us the score. 1 more to Bundoora. They trail 5-zip. We played 3 ends.
And
I think there's been too many changes to other scores. There's a bit of a crowd around the Marin, the Wedlock scoreboard, so we'll wait and see on that one.
And Dean O'Neill rink is 1 to Bundoora and 2 to MCC.
Tommy Ristic didn't look happy with that bowl as soon as he put it down on the Brad Marin rink. It's actually finished it not a bad home, so I don't know what the issue was there.
BCIB just put the jack on the back green. So jump the bank, right over the back.
He loves a bit of a run, Luke Aiello. When he gets on the drive, he runs after it and almost beats it down there, even on drive weight.
So a dead end, obviously.
Yep. Which is interesting. They'd actually played almost every bowl, if not every bowl. And Luke's obviously made the call. I want to replay it from the same end.
Yep.
So Adi Macchioli, who This will be no surprise, those who've seen him before. He will keep peppering the jack all day. One of the better leads.
Certainly will.
In this BCIB Insurance Brokers Premier Division. The commentator's curse there, of course. As soon as I took him up, he was bound to leave one short. My bad. Simon asking for
there.
it to hoop.
Great ball.
Yep. Lovely, lovely second. See what the postie can do. A bit of a different backswing there. Actually really arcs the bowl back up. When you can get the results like you can, it's hard to argue with. So I'm going to finish in a pretty good home.
Here comes Scotty's ball. It's very close.
Needs to hold that line. Yep, does so. Well, it's still one down.
Still one down.
Opens the jack up a little. Nice bowl from Scotty Majon.
Now. Liam will need to adjust his run by about a metre.
So we see a jack get killed.
Yep.
On the next rink over. Of course, that's Corey Wedlock v Brad Marin. I'll see a bit of that today. There's certainly a bit of aggression, or some aggressive players out here, that's for sure.
Liam would be very disappointed with his last ball. Comes Scotty again. It's good pace.
He might find this gap here. Yep.
Yeah. Great ball.
Rustles it through. That'll be the shot bowl.
Betty's up the head. Now on the bank.
To me, like Dean O'Neill might have picked up a few over there. 4 of them, in fact.
2 now to MCC here.
Yeah, nice little bowl in there. A bit of a conference now.
Yeah.
This one not set up. Anyway, that's going to favour Bundoora, which prompts Gary Kelly.
I think Gary wants Benny to split them apart. So we'll see a bit of pace, I suspect.
Oh, well, it was a really good effort from 𝗣𝗿𝘁. Controlled weight, obviously trying to punch the ball through. Punches the 𝗍𝗍 through, but just one roll too far. Okay, just a little narrow.
Yes, a bit disappointed with that ball.
Gary Kelly on the hunt, I think.
Oh, taking Adrian's ball out.
One of those times when he actually wanted the hole, but a little wick off a bowl in front of the jack. Careers in, takes out the Bundoora bowl that was in the head. I favour that's 3 JR or...
It's close to 3.
It's difficult to tell from the angle we're on.
Yep.
We're going to say it's 3.
Yep.
Brody Harker, Richie Murray, has just played an absolute cracker. So we could leave the camera on him all day just quietly, but anything he can do, MCC can do just as well as they wrestle back shot over there. We'll keep you updated with scores there. A bit of pressure on Gary Kelly now.
Yep. Because Adrian's ball's in a ditch, it's live. So the jack ends up in a ditch.
Playing with purpose. That is not the line that he intended.
No, not at all.
So we're actually not 100% sure on how many they're holding, but it's 100% 2, probably 3, and could be 4.
Definitely 3.
Tell you what, if you're in the area, JR, you could do a lot worse than drop into Bundoora Bowls Club tonight.
Yep.
There is quality matches everywhere. As I see Luke Aiello go for another drive. Can there be a regular occurrence tonight?
There's food being served in the kitchen.
Lovely. Brendan Gallagher
great.
plays a very nice shot.
Definitely 4, I'd say.
Look like a full count of 5. Well, not full, but a full hand of 5. Just trying to get confirmation. Well, got some players saying 4 and some saying 5, so we will update this as soon as we know, but We can see the scoreboard being updated by 𝗣𝗿𝘁, so he's saying it's 5. So there you go. Huge pickup to MCC. That squares things up, 5 shots apiece. We've played 4 ends. That puts MCC in front on the overall board.
Yep.
Just as I say that, Dean O'Neill picks up a couple more and he moves out to a 7-2 lead, which squares things up.
Yep.
So MCC with the mat for the first time today. Pretty similar length end, so no real change there. And Simon Norton be relatively pleased with that, about 1.5 foot short.
Yep.
Not a bad little opener.
Adrian's gonna go into a stop.
Just pulled up. If anything, they're going with the wind in this direction.
Yep.
Nice and low to the ground, Simon Norton in his delivery.
He's a bit short too, I think.
Yeah, keep going a little, but it's not going to change things. So if the game wasn't hard enough, the back end has now got to contend with a few short bowls.
Adrian's weight's better.
Yep, this won't be short. Well, it's not shot, but it's arguably the best bowl of the 4. Joe by Norris Ring picks up another 1. They've played about 53 ends, yet only 3 that count on the scoreboard after a series of killed ends, including a jack that flew over the other green. May have just lost our camera down behind the rink as a sign blew over. We'll get over to that as soon as we can. As we see Liam Turner's bowl nestle in for shot. Very well done. Forgive my camera work as I just try and catch up a little. As Brad, our camera operator, goes to repair the camera. So not a bad home for Scotty Majon.
I think Liam's happy with this.
Yeah, it's a good track coming in from there. Just doesn't want to run straight into the Marchielli bowl, but gets around it slightly. Not sure if it's in for second shot, but it's very close. Okay, coming in on the backhand. Looks a little narrow to me.
Yep. Not enough pace.
Weight's pretty good, but needs to correct the line. Corey Wedlock picks up another. They've moved to 4 all on 4.
𝗣𝗿𝗁's got good pace.
Aiming to promote the 𝗣𝗁 bowl and does that beautifully well. It's Mike Haig on the mat. Looks a better track. He was well narrow on his last one. Needs to just hold now.
Come off that.
No, good effort. May well have cut one down.
It's only one now.
𝗣𝗁𝗁 on the mat. Let's see what he can do. So not wasted there from 𝗣𝗁𝗁, obviously. The best back, as it's now known.
Best back bowl. As the wind picks up a bit.
Yep.
I think he's happy with it.
Yeah, looks a pretty good line with those bowls. On a couple of other bowls I might say it's a bit narrow, but it wasn't a bad line. Edges forward Mike Haig's bowl. I don't know whether it's going to change too much though. So we just had a little nudge to the camera.
Here it comes.
That's the Simon Norton bowl that he's edged up closer, so still definitely one to Bundy.
Yep.
MCC just had an errant bowl kicked, which they placed back in. Everyone's happy. Looks a pretty good track from Brendan Gallagher. Needs to hook in now. Won't do so. Nudges the 𝗣𝗁𝗁 bowl onto the Mike Haig bowl.
Yep. To 1.
Thank you, 𝗣𝗁𝗁, for signalling.
Members and visitors, please stand and join us all for a few moments silence in memory of our fallen comrades and those who have since passed on. they shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. Lest we forget.
Well, quick break there while we remember those who've served for our country. Of course, all the bowlers incredibly respectful of anybody who has. As the Gary Kelly bowl comes in. It's a very good effort. I don't think it's going to be enough for two, but it's certainly one as they take out the shot bowl.
One.
Just the one to Bundoora. So they played 5 ends here. Gary Kelly's rink for Bundoora up 6-5 over Brendan Gallagher rink for MCC.
Another dead end on the 𝗣𝗿𝘁 rink.
Yeah, I feel we may see a fair bit of that today. Corey Wedlock and Brad Marin locked in a good battle at 4 apiece. Dean O'Neill's got the jump on Scotty Mortimer, but it is very early days there, and that is a class rink for MCC.
I think we just had 6 down on the Dean O'Neill rink for MCC. So that's a big score.
Well, as we say, that was 7-2 lead to Dean O'Neill's rink. But if that is a 6, which it's now confirmed, good eyes, Johnny Roberts. Scotty Mortimer will be happy if that is a comeback. They now hit the front, 8-7. They played 5 ends.
It's very early on, but after 17 ends, MCC now 22, Bundoora 17.
Corey Wedlock asking his bowl to stop. 1 rink over.
Great bowl.
And I'm going to say it's finished 2 or 3 inches from the ditch. Absolute belter of a bowl. The very familiar South Sydney Rabbitohs bowls that Corey Wedlock's known for. Don't know what level of rugby league he might have played, but I tell you what, looks like he could hold his own in a rugby league team.
I would say so.
Back to our streamed rink, we see 2 bowls of 𝗍𝗿𝘁, not too far from the jack, holding 2. That'll finish in not a bad home. Liam will be hoping to get the next one a little closer. But let's see what Scotty Majon can do.
It's a bit heavy. Yep. It's finished in a good spot.
Liam Turner got the body language like he wants it to turn.
Yeah, it's a great ball.
Doing that nicely now.
It's a great ball.
There's a little run on after it, and why wouldn't you? Just in behind the jack. Draws applause from his teammates. Comes around to update the master board, so no end to Liam Turner's talents. Scotty Majon might not be too pleased with that one. A little short, little narrow.
I think Liam Turner wants to be a greenkeeper one day.
Yeah, well, why not?
Starting his TAFE course this year.
Could certainly do a lot worse than learn some stuff from the greens here at Bundoora. As we mentioned earlier, they are looking an absolute picture. Looks like all the lines have been freshly painted.
Yes. Dyson Appleyard, our greenkeeper for a long time now, does a great job.
Tony Chervello puts one right on the jack, leading for 𝗣𝗿𝘁. So that team over there, Tony Chervello leading, Brody Harker is second, Chopper, as they name him, Josh Corliss is 3, and 𝗣𝗿𝘁 skipping. They're up against MCC's John Gallagher. Tommy Ristic, who we mentioned earlier, is fresh off the over 60 singles win. Brett Layton and Brad Marin. They are locked in a very good battle. It's 4-all after 4. They have actually had another end. We haven't yet seen the scoreboard updated, so we'll pass that one on. Tony Chervello, also of course the team manager for the Victorian men's state team.
And is the Bundoora coach.
Coach here at Bundoora, 100%. A little short there from Mike. If Benny Hubbard can correct off his last, sailed through a little. Doesn't look like he loves it, body language wise.
It's a bit short.
Corrected a little too far.
Oh, very short.
Swear a third bowl will be handy, JR.
Yes.
Surely if you're long then short, the next one's right on it, isn't it?
Yep.
Brendan just calling for that one to hoop in. Not bad weight. Not going to come in far enough. So 𝗣𝗿𝘁 Norris still leads 5-zip over Luke Ayalo. Scotty Mortimer, after picking up a 6 on the last end, gets his nose in front, 8-7 over Dean O'Neill. Brad Marin, 𝗣𝗿𝘁 is 4-all. Now we know Bundoora won the last end, we just don't know by how many yet. And of course here on the stream rink, Gary Kelly's on the mat now, leading 6-5. They were leading 5-zip and dropped to 5, so Bundoora barring 2 ends.
Nice and wide, coming in beautifully. It's number 2 for Bundoora.
Brendan doesn't look like he likes that either. So it's been a few MCC bowls and a couple of Bundy ones falling a bit short this end.
That's very short.
Won't have seen a change in the green yet. The sun's still certainly right on it. Perhaps back into the wind might have just impacted it slightly. Certainly Gary Kelly had no such trouble. He's quite wide on this one.
A great
Perhaps
bowl.
just looking for a little bit of cover.
Yeah, great bowl.
Brendan Gallagher wasting no time on the mat. Always good to see. Does not want to find the gap. Nope.
Took
and
one
he's
ball
done
out.
that very well.
Yep.
Takes out the Gary Kelly second shot, so that'll be 1 to Bundoora. 𝗣𝗿𝘁 also wasting no time as the jack delivered before the boys have got to the other end, but no stress, everyone's happy.
Yep. It's a full length. Almost.